bless you. We're all sorted out here. All right, boys and girls, it's can you all hear me? Yeah, we're going through the people here. This is another table, an international table, if you don't mind me saying so. An international table. We have athletes from 3 different countries up on the top table here. Boxers from 3 different countries. Are they November 2nd or November 17th?
17th, I think.
November the 17th at the Clapham Grand. I'm going to start by talking to the man at the end. Josh, Big Josh. You are a heavyweight, Josh, correct?
Yeah.
You've had your one fight. What was it like?
It was quite tough. He was a decent fighter, and I had a bit of reach on him, so I spent a lot of time bouncing jabs off his head and running away.
So it was sensible boxing?
Yeah. All my pals had to go at me for hiding behind my jab, apparently.
Right, Josh, I'm going to ask you, this is white-collar boxing, and I asked the women first time round, so I'm going to ask all the men this time round. What do you do for a living, Josh, or what's your job?
I work for a betting company.
In what capacity, if you don't mind me saying so?
I deal with the international business, like Eastern Europe and that sort of thing.
Okay, so that's proper white-collar stuff. We like that. Josh at the end. One contest in. And now for the international segment of the afternoon's proceedings. Andreas in the middle there. Andreas, you've had 4 contests, but it says here in my notes, they may be true, they may not be true, that you were an amateur boxer in Greece.
Yes, that's correct.
And did you have many contests as an amateur boxer?
So I've had 4, all wins so far.
So is this your first white-collar contest?
In London, yes.
In London. So you've had some in Athens? Or
in Athens, exactly. And I'm really excited to make my debut here in London, and hopefully it will go well.
And how have you found a British gym compared to an Athenian gym? What's it been like? A major difference?
I think so, definitely in the environment and the seriousness that they take it here. It's a lot more professional. And yeah, I'm very excited.
Andreas from Greece. Now, Suli, correct? Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Yeah, you're pronouncing it correctly. Suli.
It's Suli. I know it's not. I know that's not your full name. The full name would be. I'm assuming.
My full name is Suleiman.
Yes.
I go by Suli. Like all of my friends would call me Suli, so you can call me that too.
Now, it says here, Suli, that to continue the international theme, that you're a Saudi Arabian national.
Yeah, I am. I lived here most of my life. I got into boxing actually in Saudi. I went to a gym and a coach called Nasser Nettles asked me if I wanted to fight. I said yes, and he said, well, kid, you have 2 strikes against you. You're Arab and you're brown, so you need to knock anyone you fight out.
Yeah, and he was probably right. Is there much of a... Obviously, there's been 2 major shows in Saudi Arabia in the last 12 months. George Groves lost his title to Paul Smith, and Amir Khan bashed up a tiny Australian. But there's going to be a massive fight coming up in early December when Anthony Joshua descends on Saudi Arabia, 18,000 venue. Are you planning on going back to see your family and watch that fight, or is it a fight you'll watch live on Sky for 50 quid?
I mean, it's really good how Saudi is doing a lot of things in terms of boxing. A lot of shows are happening. They're giving many fighters the opportunity to compete. I probably won't be able to go back because, I mean, it's not even in one of the main cities. It's in a place called Al Dir'iyah. That's how you pronounce it. And I'll probably.
It's a World Heritage Site, isn't it? It's a gorgeous location.
It's a beautiful location. It is a beautiful location. It's not one of the main cities, but it is a good location. I probably will be here training, or just stay here training. I might, because I don't have time to go back when that fight's happening.
So just finally, Sully, you've had the one contest. This is going to be your second contest. How did you do in the first one?
The first contest was well. I did well. I knocked my opponent out in the second round. I enjoyed it. The rush was excellent. I had a lot of fun, and I hope to get the same results in my upcoming fight.
Sully, everybody, from Saudi Arabia.
Thank you.
A heavyweight from Hull, a boxer from Athens, and a boxer from Saudi Arabia, and we are down by the Thames in London. Does it get any better, eh? The sun's out, all of your friends are in pubs having roast dinners, but you're here having to listen to me and Vern and listen to the boxers. Well done, thanks for coming. Give yourself a round of applause. I'm not joking. Now, it's just like sometimes there's certain names attached to certain things. I don't necessarily think of the name Kieran as being a big boxing name, but these are the third and fourth Kierans we've had on the top table today. I've got Kieran 1 and Kieran 2. They both had one contest. You're both boxing. I'm going to start with you first, Kieran. What made you go into a gym? What made you stop whatever sport you were doing and start boxing?
Well, I started boxing when I was 13, so I'd done amateur boxing before, and I'd done that for 3 years. So I did start a while back. Kind of got into things, had a couple of amateur fights, and then I just draw away from it. It was just I turned 16.
So what dragged you back here, and what sucked you back in?
I done the white collar last year. I just missed the training. That was basically it. The motivation, the discipline, and just the rewards that you get at the end of it for the training that you put in.
What, the actual fight itself and that euphoric feeling, that
that
rush, that adrenaline that Shane was talking about earlier on?
Yeah, just to see the progression in how you are as a person, mentally and physically. And I've never been good at football, so I never took up football. It's just, boxing I found more enjoyable for myself, and it's...
Very honest to be in this neck of the woods and admit you're not very good at football, because it's in my experiences being down here as an Arsenal fan that every single person around here thinks they're Fulham's greatest this or Chelsea's greatest that, and no one admits to being shit at football down here, do they? No, I'm being honest. I hate to be regionalist, but I'm just telling you, don't say a word, Virgil. You're banned from speaking. Kieran 2. What made you stop whatever it was you were doing, or whatever age it was, and decide, you know what, I'll give this white-collar boxing a bang?
Well, I'm 40 now, so when I was...
But can I just say, in that area of the table, you're a whippersnapper. More of that in a moment.
Well, years ago, I used to watch... my dad would let me watch Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank, Bunce's Boxing Hour.
Yeah, what a show that was.
Classics. And, I used to watch all that, and it really got me into it. So I trained for years, on and off, and then, unfortunately, my dad died in December. Okay. So I thought, time to get fit again, back into boxing, put him a coach, James over there.
So dedicated to your, this fight dedicated to your dad?
Well, the last one was, but all of them will be, yeah. Okay. From now until I lift some sort of title.
Oh, brilliant stuff, Kieran. Now, the man at the end, Lee.
Yeah, right.
Lee, they said, is it genuine, you're 50 years of age?
52.
52?
52, yeah.
And had you boxed before, Lee?
When I was a kid, yeah. When I was amateur when I was a kid.
As an amateur, when you were 16 or 15?
No, 12, 13.
12?
Yeah.
And what made you suddenly decide, at whatever age, 51 or 52, that, you know what, I'll have a white collar about? And then what did the people that love you think about it?
Just the last hurrah, innit? Go for it. Last sort of time you could do it, because as you get older, it's a little bit older than this. It's going to be at the end of it, and they just think I'm potty, yeah. Think I'm mad, you know.
Well, I think plenty of people here might think you're potty as well.
Maybe.
They might admire you, but they might think it's potty.
Yeah.
Lee, how have you found it? Because it's one thing, having a bit of muscle memory and knowing how to throw a jab and move around the bag. But I'm assuming now you've gone past that. You're going on the pads. You're doing a little bit of sparring. How have you found the serious side?
Yeah, it's hard. It's a lot harder than when you're a kid, you know. And recovery is a lot longer to recover and everything. But no, it's working all right. I train with my trainer over there, Joe. We give it a go. So done a little bit of sparring last week. I got chased around the ring by Josh at the end, but it was good.
Is it? You say it's like a last hurrah. Is it a one fight and out for you, Lee?
I thought we'd see how it goes, really.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? See how it goes. See how I feel after it. If it goes all right, then we give it another pot.
52 years of age, I've got to tell you, anyone that can do, and I know because I was 52 once, anyone that can do much at 52 gets my admiration. Another 6 people boxing on the shows in November. Thanks very much for all of them. Thank you. 1 second, man.
Just quickly, if you don't mind, I want to pick up something with Lee. You said you boxed as an amateur, as a kid.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Roehampton.
It was the Roehampton Boys Club.
Yeah.
Do you know why I asked?
Go on.
Because I come from Roehampton and I actually remember you.
Really?
No.
I do. Yeah, truthfully, I was in Danbury Avenue. That's where I used to live.
Right, yeah. I think it was Frank Long used to do it.
Exactly what it was. How many contests did you have?
Only 3.
Only 3, yeah. But I used to pop in there from time to time back in the day. I was a little bit older than you, but I remember it.
Yeah.
So well done. Brilliant. Guys, give them a round of applause. This is what it's all about.
That's unbelievable. Well, we've got one more. I think we've got one more table. One more table of people coming up. Then
Two more, I think.
three more tables. We're going to crack on. Just to say that anyone that's been interviewed up here, we are going to try and do the one-on-one interviews later. So if you can delay your departure, that'd be great. But we'll get the tables out of the way because people have commitments, and we are cracking on. Thanks very much for these. We'll get another table up. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well done, boy.